Hello, my dear friends. I'm very glad for our communication and to this air streaming, and Quarantine is doing his job. We can communicate not only outside, but also in these kind of conditions. And it looks like we were always preparing to communicate in this format. This format will be not unusual. We will delve into the discussion of this topic, the topic of reading books. I want, in the beginning, to wish to all the participants of this event patience, to be patient, to be sensible, and now it's the time that everybody has to stop a little bit the speed of their life. They say you have to do one step back to do two steps in front. Now it looks like something is happening to stop a little bit the rhythm of our life, to hamper it. And we have to thank to our countries, to the governments of our countries where we live, and the governments which protect us and which direct us. And quarantine is a good thing. People are sitting at homes, they're not wandering around the streets, you don't know where. We have to take it as a positive thing. We have to use this time correctly. We don't have to complain with the fate that there's quarantine, we cannot go anywhere. But we have to be in all the places we live and to be very active. And this lesson that we will be learning for 2 weeks, approximately, it will be a very good spending of time. This lesson will open our eyes on many things, and we will see that in reality this quarantine is going. It will help us during this time to find out why we came to this world, and this is why we came. We want to know the greatness of this world, we want to know the creator of this world, we want to live peacefully and happily in this world, we want to create a lot. And we want to know our spiritual nature deeper of this world as well, and to know the God as the creator of this beautiful created world by Him. And of course, spiritual people of different traditions, they were doing this already. They were not waiting quarantine. We have a short lifetime, and they are using it for the self-realization. But not all the people could submerge in a session, in a small room in a monastery for 2 weeks, live somewhere in a mosque for some time, and they didn't have very strong motives. This is the motive for us. We can use the time of our life correctly. I would like to remind us all what is the most important thing that we have to do now. To plan how to come in this very important phase of our life. Everybody knows that nowadays there's a special transformation. They write about it in the internet, people talk about this. It's a we're going to the long-awaited dimension, and we're going to another phase of our life. And these changes are good or bad. This depends on your karma. We will just reap the rewards. And the universe has the transitional period. Our right task is to use this time correctly. And today is a good day to make the warming up. This is a good day. They say that today the God makes the desires of those people realizing, of those people who were doing some good things for Him. Yesterday there was the 11th moon day, and some people were fasting this day. It was Ekadashi. Some people were trying to fast, some people fasted. And the next day, the 12th day of the moon, Dvadashi, the God hears everyone who was holding fasting, who was doing ascetic things, austerities. And today is a very auspicious day, and we will try to enter this educational process. I will read this letter and stop somewhere and talk about certain moments deeper to set up ourselves, so we get this motive very serious, very important. So we all could, all these 2 weeks, or the important is the 7 days, and apart from those 7 days there will be the preparation for those 7 days, and to this preparation there will be another preparation which is starting today. And it will all help us to go and enter this regime, 7-day regime, so that we can enter very correctly. And so this time that we will spend for studying these ancient scriptures, that this would bring us wellness. It's a two sides. It brings a huge benefit for the world and both for the person who will follow it. And so let's start our delving into this. And we will all understand what will happen, because how we will spend this course. I was writing this letter to my friends. It was more a letter to my friends and like-minded people who have already the very strong faith, who have already the potential of the spirituality, mostly I was writing it to them, but during the process, while it was going out from my heart, I understood that it could be written to any person who understands a special being in this world, and it's dedicated to God and people, and it will be very important. I think that here, the people who gathered here, to build life in a way that it's not only useful for their relatives, but for everyone. Every person has the force, has an opportunity, and if you use it correctly, it can influence the outside world. My best wishes that I can wish to close people, that I can, in this distressing and wonderful time of our life. Before the main message, I want to give the warming up, the setting up. Why this time is great? Knowing about the time, we can be tranquil during all our existence, because the The boss of time takes care of us. The Creator is the only one who knows about the might of time and can use it correctly. Now it's a very special time, and if we use this time for self-realization, it will bring us big benefit. And in the sacred scriptures, it is said that the God is listing the strength that will just be destroyed, destroy everything. Everything will be destroyed anyway, and then will reborn. The time is the strongest power in this world. So in the commentaries to this text, Srila Prabhupada, the saint who translated all these tractates, he gives commentaries purport to almost every text, so we understand what it is talking about. So there is a little piece of this commentary. There are many destroying powers, but time finishes everything in the material universe, and that's why it represents God. He evaluates this power, that it's representing God directly. And God says that time is the destroying power that will make everything that we possess into nothing, like all the richness, money, houses, everything. Whatever we will acquire, it will come to an end. Our main goal is to use this time correctly so that we don't suffer from the lost things, but to feel the happiness. It will take everything, starting from the material things like house, our body, any other luxurious things, finishing with the subtle things like family, status, sex, and all the desires connected with these acquisitions. Fear to lose everything develops the attachment to these things. Let's refresh our memory and remember. The fear appears because the soul gets into this world of material and understands it's not its world. Its life is always accompanied by some worries that this world brings us. There are three types of these worries. The worries from the natural events, from the life beings, and from our own mind and our body. And soul understands that it has to leave this world. When it understands it, it waits for a time to use it, and this is the time when the soul gets the human body. The soul just changes the different reincarnations, 8,400,000 different ones, beings, and then now it finally has the human body, and it gets the chance to get out from the samsara, from this round and round merry-go-round of birth and death. And when the soul is feeling that it's using its time incorrectly, not for the self-awareness, it becomes sad, and this state of the sadness of the soul, that the time is going in vain, that it may just lose this useful time in the life of a human, it is sad. But in the material reality, the person fear, has fear towards everything else, like the feeling that I'm losing time. And it knows that the time will destroy everything. And this emotion of awareness of this, it gives us in the material world the emotion of the fear. So we're afraid, oh, the balloon has snapped, we're afraid, oh, militia is coming, oh, we're afraid to lose this useful time in our life. To have this fear in a positive way, for example, the child is afraid to do something wrong because of the parents. The child is guarded by the parents, so most of the educated children, they cannot do something that his parents will not like. This is a positive fear. This fear brings an awe towards the parents. But if we use our time correctly, we will also feel this happiness. The soul is, when it feels that it is doing some good deeds, it is very happy, and it has enthusiasm and decisiveness, and this decisive mood on the material way, it's like a blunt fear, a little bit diminished. While the time force is acting, you have this fear, and it brings suffering in everybody's life, in whoever is attached to anything. The fear is increasing. The more there is the attachment, the stronger is the fear. And the biggest fear is to lose all the collected things. And now this is the type of the fear that affects all the society as a whole. Now is the right, if we use the right time, we will feel infinite happiness. In the material world, there is not such an example. This is a type of happiness that a person who was in prison and he was sentenced for a death sentence, and suddenly they release him. There is an example in the scriptures. Since now we are in the human body, you have to ask sensible, intelligent questions. In Bhagavad Gita, the God says that with the devoted service, there are 4 people who are interested in this. And one of them is Jigyasa, the curious, the people who want to ask. It's one of the categories. So all of us will have to become like Parikshit Maharaj or King Parikshit. We have to long to learn about the absolute truth. And now, the whole meaning of this event, to become so decisive, or to become such a Tsar Parikshin, we have to do what he did before his death. 7 days before, he was listening about God's deeds. Time has brought us this vaccine for soul from this virus, which is called birth, old age, illnesses, and death. This will help us to get cured from these illnesses. Birth, old age, and death, and illnesses, this is the worst thing for the soul. It needs to learn how to go out from this, not to be born anymore. What is Srimad Bhagavatam? It's a beautiful scripture, beautiful Bhagavatam. There is this beautiful talk about King Parikshit and his spiritual teacher, whose name was Shukadeva Goswami. Goswami means whoever has become the owner of his senses, so he doesn't let his senses to go out of control. Goswami. And in Srimad Bhagavatam there is a text, one text, in the first song, in the 3rd chapter, verse 43. It sounds as follows. This is Bhagavata Purana. Purana means ancient, the most ancient. Shining like the sun. It rose immediately after that. Krishna was accompanied by religion, knowledge, and everything else went to his home. This Purana will bring light to people who just lost the possibility to see in the dark age of Kali. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying that the God manifested everything and even told us Bhagavad Gita and removed the show-off religiosity, and through Narada he asked Vyasadeva to make Srimad Bhagavatam. And Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are like torches which light the path for the blind people of this age. In other words, if people of this age want to see the light of life, they have to turn to these two books, and then they can get their goal of their life. In Bhagavad Gita, there is something that you have to learn before starting Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is... That's why we have to... In Srimad Bhagavatam there is about the life of Krishna, so we have to see it as the God himself. They are the same, Srimad Bhagavatam and the God. So before the start of this 7-day talk, we will follow the suggestions of saints. We will fulfill the recommendation, and we will read Bhagavad Gita in one day. Only the text and the purports can be read by everyone by themselves, or after these 7 days, or during these 7 days if you will have some time for this. It will help to understand the texts themselves. But those who are already reading this book, they can read just the text, so that the full picture opens up even better. What are the variants of the reading? We will talk about it later. For now, we'll read the essence. This talk was lasting for 7 great days. This talk is the priceless gift for the humanity in all times. Every person has to use this medicine. It's a medicine from death. Whoever will read it, this wonderful historical talk, will get rid of this, his soul's cancer of birth, old age, and death. That is, people want to be eternal. They always want to be young, they always want to live, and they never want to die. This is natural, because the soul's nature is like that. It's eternal. It doesn't want to go into these transformations, old age and birth, and there is the medicine. Srimad Bhagavatam is the medicine. Because reading the lines of these saint people, we are kind of receiving an injection, because the talks there are about the eternal, not about the temporary. Our conscience goes to somewhere eternal, and our soul is having the happiness not found on earth. It's like the fish who was lying down on the ground somewhere, and then suddenly it felt the drops of water of the ocean, its own element. What kind of happiness will it feel? And This is a similar feeling that the soul feels when a person starts to go and learn about something godly, spiritual. That's how the person can defeat death. This letter is more to those who understand what it is all about. And maybe some people just joined now and understand their own importance. This is also for you. This is the time to tell to the world about this priceless help we can do to the world. Not only to those who are ill with the virus or the ones who will get the virus. They will get this help. It also influences those who will just find out that there is such a procedure, curing procedure, I would call it like that. Reading this Holy Scripture, it's like a curing procedure, not only for the person who is reading, but for somebody who is nearby or somebody who is far away but is connected with you. That person also receives the benefit. And also, not less valuable is the fact that we know that every day the people are dying, not only from virus, but from accidents, different illnesses, old age. Somebody dies just right after the birth. And for all the people who during these 7 days will be dying, these people will also get the benefit, huge benefit. When the death will come, the people will feel that there is a force that is protecting them, so the person can leave this world without heavy suffering, and they will get the benefit. Because this ceremony of healing, we can say that, it just touches all the planet, because in all the continents, the people will read this Holy Scripture, so all the people will get benefit everywhere. Or maybe only somebody in Antarctica will not join us, but nowadays everything is possible, but everybody will get the benefit. This is the might of the holy conversation. Also, you need to know that every live being has his life measured, predefined till the last second. For example, a virus, a cancer, or any other illness can come. Death is already waiting for everyone, and the time is already has been measured. And even they also have the scenario of their life, and time knows when to come to us and with what scenarios. The question is only what kind of conscience state we will have at that time, and this is a very important part, and we have to be prepared for that, because time can invite us to pass this exam anytime. Parikshta had 7 days, and his luck was because he knew that he was governing the whole world. The world was flourishing, and it was happy with this governing. But when Tsar found out that he has only 7 days to live, he just took out his crown, he gave it to his son, and he just left the palace. He was a very religious and very educated king. The king is the example for everyone. That's why he's showing the example of his decisive behavior to all his people. This is the example of all the leaders, all the managers of departments and countries. Even if you are managing your family, you have to show the example of the great deed, how to leave this world, because in the future people will know how to use this as something very important, the example of the leader, of the king. And since his whole life was devoted to God and people, those last 7 days they played a very big role in all his people, in the whole earth. And the Tsar decides to devote himself to the very important action that he was preparing for the whole life. And this is the most important exam in his life. The person has passed this exam, has to pass this exam as if it is going to another dimension. This dimension, this passing is very important, very interesting, because we will go to another dimension, and the happiness that the soul is feeling when it goes out from this world, from this body, you cannot measure it with any machines. It goes out from this bag with organs and bones, and it just gets freed from all that. It doesn't lose anything. So this exam is very important in life. You cannot just miss it or come towards it without preparation. What is the Pariksha saying? This is a piece from Srimad Bhagavatam. Before the death I gave myself the promise not even to drink water, but since I am drinking the nectar of the scriptures about God, about Krishna, which is flowing from your lotus lips, my thirst, which is usually so difficult to bear, cannot make me anything bad. God and His devotees are doing special actions that are bringing happiness to God. This hearing, listening, will play the most important role. It will change the conscience. Our problem is that while we're living, we cannot concentrate on God always, because there is a lot of actions everywhere around us, and we always have to act. If, for example, somebody is taking care of his family, somebody is working, somebody is doing something in the hospital or in the garden, somebody is in the police, or somebody is governing the country, somebody is aiding them. We're always busy, and we might not have a possibility to do it, but even if we know the importance of this, but when a person puts the goal to go into this, we are starting to feel that all these things, they will just impede us. There will be a force which will distract you and tell you there is something more important. And all these preparations that we will have for 5 days before the 10th of April, it is to minimize all the distracting factors in our whole life, just to start feeling as if we didn't have them anymore, just to go very deeply into the reading and to give all our attention there. And we will be more useful to the world like this if we will concentrate like this seriously. It's a question of our attention. This is what it is talking about. And the king, he had this type of motive. He didn't care about food, water, or sleep. He was so concentrated that the spiritual energy from his concentration gave him possibility not to eat and not to sleep for the 7 days. That's what his great deed was. Even if we only have 1 day left, or 10 days left, or 1 year, or 20 years and more, this time will pass very quickly. The time will come till the last second, very exactly, and with its destroying power, very politely will ask us to leave our body and this world we are used to. If this, at this time, when it will come to us during as a death, we will still have some attachments to our money and to our possessions, then we will always again have to go to quarantine, not for 7 days. Then we will go again around the material world in different bodies, different dimensions, and this means that always being influenced by the virus of the birth, death, old age, and illnesses. Now, as never, all the inhabitants of the earth start to understand that this is the right time to come together, to join together with the maximum use for the earth. It has to be useful not only for the people of the earth, but also for the other creatures. There are different creatures living in other dimensions, and our meditation will be important also for them. For example, if you will just sting yourself with a needle with your big toe, all your organism will feel it. All the universe is one living organism. The influence will be on everyone. If we will just be positive, there will be positive influence on everyone. If we just see how now many people are suffering, there are cataclysms and epidemics and wars, we have to understand that these sufferings are everywhere, and in different other dimensions somebody also can suffer. We need to understand that. That is, we're all interconnected in this world. Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport, instead of complaining about what will be with this world, you have a big piece of life, like 50-60 years, just chant Hare Krishna or pray to God with different words. You can choose any kind of prayer. There are many different countries and cultures. You can choose whatever is attracting you. Just chant Hare Krishna and go back to God, home. Just pray to God. Remember your prayers and Maha Mantra and go back to God. You don't have to think too much about what will be with this world. The nature will take care of it. Just use all your time to go back to God. You cannot control the situation in the world. The best is to order your life in the correct way, to go back to God. In one way or another, people will continue to the civilization of bad people. Different karmic reactions will take place. Just use your time for your benefit and develop your Krishna consciousness and go back to God. This is how Prabhupada constructively and critically sees some things just take the time of your life used for self-awareness. If somebody is just doing some facilitations for the civilization, thinking that he will live here for many millions of years, it just drags you. So be careful, be attentive. You have to if you do something that helps people to understand the nature of God and their use, if there is something, if you do something that is this time only for pleasures, it will just take away our luck. Here Srila Prabhupada is giving the medicine from the virus of the material existence. The best thing is to order the life in the correct way, to go back to God. Use the time for your development and the spiritual consciousness, and then go back to God. Now it's the right time when we can.
Да, есть у всех. Все здоровы, если еще сейчас слушают, читают или будут.
Everybody is healthy. If they are now listening or reading or will be listening, it means they are healthy and alive. And it means that we have to order our life. And the importance of this event will be
таким образом в квартире или в том месте, где он находится.
In your flat or in the place where you are, you can order your life. Everything in order. This is the energy of the time which will touch us in this way. The time will touch us this way. You have to use your time correctly, so there will be early waking up, there will be prayers in your tradition of the people where you are, then there will be the reading of the scriptures, then people, if they are tired, they will be, they can relax, they can eat something, and then continue. And also we will have some meetings every day in the air streaming. We will meet and we will discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. We will try to search something that Prabhupada was mentioning in his purports. Because the most important things that we can find in Srimad Bhagavatam is his commentaries of Prabhupada. Whoever will read Srimad Bhagavatam, just the text, the criteria of the fact that he got the Sukriti, it will be that he will have a very big wish to read now the purports. It's the sweetest part because they are completed by Srila Prabhupada, the person put by God, because nobody will be able to write Srimad Bhagavatam for us like Srila Prabhupada made in this epoch, in this heavy time. This is the only medicine now for us. And so we will devote time for this every day. Moscow time, it will be 11 a.m. At this time we'll be connecting and discussing Bhagavatam, and to understand it even deeper. We will leave some time for the questions. This is an obligatory part of our program. I will try to read it till the end. There is still a little bit. It's just necessary for all of us, for the common meditation, for common mood all together, the good mood. We want to give everyone the opportunity to test themselves in a very unusual method of helping others. We want to give everyone this opportunity so that everyone could help people like this, especially to those who need, who are suffering. The unusual thing about this method is that every person will be able to help others, mostly if they will be able to help themselves. If you want to change the world, change yourself. The help will be maximum because it will influence the whole world. To help yourself, it's first to help your own soul and your conscience, not this body. The strong motive will help. You have to understand, helping yourself is not egoistic. For example, if we're drowning, you have to help yourself first and then help the person next to you. If we start first helping the other person who is drowning, we will drown ourselves as well. But if we found something to hold on, we can also get someone else on board with us to save them. The motive has to be strong. And in our case, the motive is that every participant of this charity action will have the possibility to get a 7-day course of preparation to leaving this world, because the time will do it. It's better to pass the exam correctly and go back to Godhead, home. We can test ourselves how we are ready for that. When these 7 days finish, we will understand very clearly where are all our weakest places, and to put the resources there. We have to be ready for that to any time, because 20, 40, 50 years for the soul is like a lightning. We have to prepare very well. We need a strong motivation. The motivation is that I want to help the people. I want to get rid of this virus I got. I don't want to die anymore as a soul. I don't want to become old. I don't want to become ill. This is the motivation you have to have. For this, you have to understand that I am the spiritual being, not this body, at least on the level of belief. What is the help for the world? Question. Since all the 7 days, all the participants will be doing what Parikshit king was doing for 7 days, only listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. In our case, we will be individually reading Srimad Bhagavatam. This will be our help to ourselves and the people equally. Every day, you need to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam as much as possible. This Srila Prabhupada is telling this from the purport to the 10th verse. He says, every day you have to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam as much as possible, and then everything will go to its place, because Bhagavatam is the essence of all the Vedic scriptures. Not Gama, Galpator, Khalita Khalam. This is Sanskrit. It was written by Vyasadeva when he reached the self-awareness. Thus, the more we read Srimad Bhagavatam, the more clear becomes whatever is contained in it. Every verse is transcendental or spiritual. This is the 13th verse of the 10th chapter, text 54. Vyasadeva is the incarnation of God who came to this world to write Bhagavatam, to write us the Vedic knowledge, to give us the direction how to reach the self-awareness and develop the love to God and go back home. This is instruction, how to come back home to God. How to come back to the place, to our home that we left once. Now we are like stray children, and we're trying to get the exit from this labyrinth that we created for ourselves by ourselves. And Srimad Bhagavatam is showing this way. The conclusion. Quarantine as it is.
такое заключение я решил сделать.
This is a conclusion I decided to make. To understand how to use this time of quarantine correctly. Us as a civilization, we are the virus for the creation of God in such a state in which the earth is nowadays, the modern civilization. The earth is protesting. It doesn't want that on its surface there are all these crazy things happening, viruses, epidemics, killings, wars, and in this, our little earth is as if it was ill with the virus, the civilization. The ideology of life, personal and collective, on all levels is affected by the virus. And people need a sign, a directional sign, how to restore the harmony in their life. People are completely perplexed because of this virus. Everybody's waiting. What will be? What will happen? Srimad Bhagavatam is giving us this light in the end of the tunnel. What will be, will be. We cannot change it. It will be anyway. But the question is, what kind of conscience, what kind of state of conscience we will have? Srila Prabhupada is saying about this. This civilization will be going better or worse. It will be destroyed. Why do we have to think about it? We have to think about what state of consciousness I will have at the moment when I have to leave this body. And this can happen any time. We don't know it. This is the real value of this retreat. This is Bhagavata Purana is shining as the sun. It is shining and it gives us this light at the end of the tunnel. It will give light to people who have just lost the possibility of seeing during this Kali age. Also, we have to go deeper into this letter from the ancient times. This is a real victory, over the quarantine, over the virus. We all have to drink this medicine from... With this, we will help not only to ourselves, but also to all the live beings. This is my address. And now I understand that there are some questions. You can give them to me. I will try. Question. Can I spread spiritual texts and music in places where people don't know anything about them? Like, for example, computer games, it's the community of Tamasic people. Of course you can, if you are ready to give to these people some continuation. Of course you can. If you already have this resource, of course give them to me. You can put it there. If people want it, if they want to get something, understand something. But nowadays, this is the time when people don't want to go deep inside this. They're very lazy. They don't want to develop themselves spiritually. They don't want to make this transformation in their conscience and their heart. So the people can just be scared or just throw it away, far away from them. We have to be patient and try to convince people that this is necessary, this is important, and this is valuable. If you have this opportunity, of course, do it. When there is a fire, all the means can help. All the things that are around can help. Now we can see that there is a fire. People are stressed, psyche is stressed. Everybody has some kind of blunt bravery that everything will be good. Everything will be good this month, one year, 5 years, everything will be good. For 50 years, everything will be good. But then the old age and the death will just arrive and take their part. They are very patient and they will wait for it. So of course, if you have a possibility, you have to tell this all to people. Of course, this actions will give the benefit to the one who are doing it, but be careful, be ready for the fact that they can ask you questions and just answer
Не
them
нужно ничего навязывать, не нужно ничего там
or give
доказывать.
them to someone else.
Не нужно
You don't
перетягивать
have
свои
to
традиции, считая их
prove
лучшей
anything. You don't
традицией.
have to drag them into
Дайте
your
лекарство просто
tradition,
от
thinking that your
бессмертия.
tradition is the
И
best. Just
все.
give them
Если
this
это бессмертие идет через Библию, это
medicine
очень хорошо.
for
Если это бессмертие
immortality.
идет через Коран,
If this
это очень
immortality is
хорошо.
going through Bible
Если
or
это
Quran,
бессмертие идет через
it's
Шримад
very good.
Бхагаватам,
If it goes through
Бхагавад-гиту, это
Srimad
очень
Bhagavatam
хорошо.
and Bhagavad Gita, it's
Вот
very
это
good.
лекарство нужно людям
This
брать.
is
От этого вируса нужно
this is
лечиться,
the
от бессмертия.
medicine.
Вернее,
We
от
have
смерти.
to get cured from this virus, the virus of death.
Возможно
Is
ли
it possible
участвовать в
to
марафоне
participate in
для
the
семейных
marathon
людей?
for family
Очень много
people?
обязанностей
There are
семейных,
many
особенно у женщин на карантине.
duties, family duties,
Как
especially for women
устраиваться
on
таким
quarantine.
людям?
How do these people have to
Можно
set
участвовать,
their mind
безусловно.
on this? You can
Есть
participate, of course,
аудиоформаты.
there are audio
Можете включить
formats.
на это время, пока
You
не
can
читаете.
switch them on,
Аудиоформаты,
don't
выполняйте
read
свои
it,
обязанности,
do your
слушайте
duties,
внимательно.
listen to
Шримад
them,
Бхагаватам в
listen to
аудиоформате.
Srimad Bhagavatam in audio
Главное суть
format.
держать.
Important is
То
the
есть смысл, главное
essence.
смысл просто удерживать. То есть он так
It
составлен, он
is
для всех традиций
compiled in a
Шримад
way that it's for
Бхагаватам.
all
Шримад Бхагаватам
traditions.
не сделан
It is
только
not
для
made only
избранных
for
каких-то
some
людей.
chosen
Сейчас, вот в эту
ones
эпоху.
in this
Он сейчас
epoch.
для
Now
всех
it's
доступен.
available for
По
everyone
милости Вьясадевы.
because
И
of
по
the
милости
grace
Шрилы
of
Прабхупады,
Vyasadeva
потому
and
что
Srila
Шрила Прабхупада
Prabhupada,
вывез его на Запад,
because
это
Srila
знание,
Prabhupada
и адаптировал его для людей
brought
Запада.
this
И
knowledge
мы видим,
to the
миллионы
West
миллионы
and
людей
adapted it
поменяли
to the
свои
West.
жизни, достигли
And we
уже
see that millions and
высоких,
millions
ну,
of
скажем
people
так,
have already
положений в
changed
духовной жизни.
their life and
Люди зрелые стали
already
сейчас.
reached
Они в
very
разных
high
традициях
positions in
находятся, эти
spiritual
люди.
world.
Они остались также в своих
They are
традициях,
in
но
their
они знают ценность Шримад
positions,
Бхагаватам.
they are in their traditions, but they know the value of
Поэтому
Srimad
женщины
Bhagavatam.
также, которые заняты
So
своими делами, также
also
могут
the
участвовать,
women
просто
who are
слушая.
busy with their duties, they can
Аудио.
also
Также
listen to audio
попробуйте настроиться на
and try
то, что,
to
возможно, кто-то в эти 7 дней не уложится, кто-то
try to
медленно
understand
шукает,
that
у кого-то на
somebody
самом
will
деле,
not
как
be
вы
able
здесь
to do
подмечаете, есть
everything in these
обязанности,
7
кто-то на
days.
работу,
Maybe
может
somebody
быть,
is
ходит,
working, maybe somebody has
еще
other duties
занят другими
or
делами,
other
также, может быть, как будто бы
things,
не
and
вписывается.
it's
Но
not kind of
важно
fitting
эти
in,
7
but it's
дней
important
читать,
to
погружаться,
read
потом
everything in these
дочитать
7
можно
days.
8-й,
Then you
9-й
can
день, это
finish it
также
in the
продолжение
8th or
может иметь.
9th day.
Я
There
уверен,
can be the
большинство людей
continuation.
так и
I'm
сделают.
sure that most of the people will
Они
do
будут
in
продолжение
like this.
своей жизни, ну,
They will
организовывать.
organize the
То есть
continuation
можно
in
заново
their
будет
life.
прочитать Бхагавад-гиту,
You
Шримад
will be
Бхагаватам
able
уже с
to read the
комментариями.
Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam already with the purports of
Тогда
Srila
раскроются
Prabhupada,
более
and
глубоко, более
then
детально
they will,
раскроются
then it will
какие-то
be
аспекты духовной
opened,
жизни и всего вот этого
it will open
мироздания.
up more in detail.
То есть не ставьте целью, что
Don't
прям надо срочно.
put the
Нет.
goal that you have to do
Выполняйте
it
также свои
urgently.
обязанности,
No.
чтобы это никак не помешало вашим
Just do it in
родственникам,
a way
которые
that
зависят,
it
например, от вас,
doesn't
дети или там
impede
друзья, или там жены
harm
от
your
мужей также зависят
relatives
где-то.
or whoever
То
is
есть
dependent on you,
попытайтесь за
like
эти 5 дней
wives, husbands,
настроить
or children. Try to,
настроить просто
in
свою
these 7
жизнь
days,
таким,
try to
упорядочить буквально
organize
здесь так,
your
как
life
Прабхупада говорит.
in a way
Настройте так, чтобы вы
that you
смогли в
can
эти 7 дней больше времени уделять
devote
чтению.
more time
Вот
to
это задача
reading
должна
during
быть. А
these
как
days.
получится,
And
время, место,
whatever will
обстоятельства.
happen, it will depend on time, place, and circumstances.
Если еще говорить
Also,
о
if we
методах,
talk about the
какими
methods,
методами можно пользоваться на
what
время
methods we can use during this
этого
marathon,
марафона, то есть под этим видео
under this
наверняка
video for sure
есть ссылка, где вы можете
there is a
получить
link where you can
дополнительную
get some additional
информацию,
information,
получить
get the
тексты
texts
этого
of
священного
this holy scripture.
писания. Можно читать в
You can
гаджетах,
read it in
компьютерах,
your
у кого там
gadgets, in the
книги есть
computer,
дома,
somebody has books
потому
at
что
home,
миллионы
because
книг
millions and millions of
распечаталось и
books were
распространилось по миру.
printed and
И поэтому
spread around the
наверняка у кого-то
world.
дома есть, наверняка
Somebody has them at home.
у большинства не полный
Probably
комплект
most of the
Шримад
people
Бхагаватам.
don't have a full
То есть какие-то есть, каких-то нету, то вы также
full
можете
Srimad Bhagavatam.
написать нам,
You have some, you don't have some. You can also read
сказать,
us
например,
and
каких текстов,
tell us
каких книг у вас
which
не
books
хватает, каких там
are missing,
мы
you
эту
don't
заявку
have, and
примем,
we will
рассмотрим и
get
попробуем отправить
this message
в
and
тот центр, который
we'll
находится в
try
вашем
to
городе,
send to the
и вам
center
оттуда
in
могут
your
принести,
city,
вы дополните свои
and they
комплекты,
can bring it to
можете
you, and you will have your
ими пользоваться и читать
full
также ими.
Srimad Bhagavatam, and you can use them and read them.
То есть несколько
There will
форматов
be
будет.
several formats.
чтение,
of
как я
reading,
сказал, и
as I said.
также чтение может
And
быть
reading can also
сопровождаться
be
молитвами
accompanied
долгими.
by long
Это какие-то особенные
prayers.
люди могут
Some special
такую,
people
такой подвиг
can
совершить,
do
такую реформу
this
в своей духовной жизни
reform
сделать.
in
То есть
this
параллельно
their
погружаться
spiritual
в
life,
молитвенное состояние. Примерно
parallelly
читать нужно будет
to dive into
по 6-7
praying.
часов в день. Примерно нужно будет погружаться не сразу,
6,
частями там мы
7,
будем это
8
делать.
hours a
Специальное
day
время
you
будет,
have
график
to go and
будет
read.
виден.
Not immediately, but
И
according to the time
это время
schedule.
лучше вместе читать,
This
это, то
time,
есть эта молитва, она как молитва будет, это чтение
this
как
reading
молитва
will be
будет,
like a prayer. It will
приравниваться
be
будет. И, то
equal.
есть вот это
And
совместное
this
чтение будет
common
давать вот
reading
эту
will
силу, вот
give
этот импульс помощи людям
this
в мире,
force, the impulse
чтобы
to
избавить этот
help
вирус.
to people in the world to
Но в
get
другое
them
время люди
free
могут
from
либо
the
продолжать
virus. On the
читать,
other time, people can continue
либо заниматься
reading
молитвенным
or
состоянием,
do
погружаться,
some
читать молитвы
prayers
своих
and read
традиций.
some prayers of their traditions.
Также будут
Also,
те, кто могут
there will
поститься,
be people
например.
who will
Я,
be
конечно, не
fasting. I
рекомендую
don't recommend
7 дней поститься на сухую, не пить,
everyone
не
to
есть, просто
fast
читать и
7
слушать.
days
Потому что
without
тела у нас не такие,
water
как у
just
царя
to
Парикшита. У него-то
read and
тело было
listen, because
идеальным, то
we
есть
don't
он
have
уже был духовно
perfect
зрелым.
bodies
То
like
есть и у него реальная была
King
ситуация 7 дней
Parikshit.
до конца.
And he was
И
already
поэтому он
spiritually
не ел, не
advanced,
пил.
and
Это,
he
кстати,
had a very
рекомендуется
special
перед смертью развязать
situation.
эту
And
потребность
these
в
7
еде.
days he wasn't
Если у
eating and
человека
drinking,
остается
because
эта
this is what
привязанность к еде,
recommended for
то
people
значит
who have
он
only
обратно
some
получит
days
тело.
left.
Так как есть
Because
потребность именно в
people
еде через это
might
тело,
keep
через язык.
the,
То есть, и поэтому
the
и
attachment
рекомендуется
to
тем, кто
food and
оставляете, может
drink.
быть, чувствует, что
So
вот-вот. Нужно к
you
минимуму
have
свести еду
to
и сон, да, чтобы сдать
bring
этот экзамен.
food and
Может быть, не на
sleep
отлично, но на
to
твердую,
the
по крайней
minimum.
мере, 4.
At least
Надо сдать
to
этот
pass this
экзамен.
exam not on
Но
5, but
в
on
нашем
4
случае это
out
не
of 5.
обязательно поститься так на
It's not
сухую.
obligatory
Хотя, не знаю, может быть, кто-то
to
уже в
observe a
преддверии
complete
чувствует, что
fasting
уже
without
вот-вот выход,
water.
то сведите к минимуму, по крайней мере, еду
But
и
if you
последние
feel
дни
like you
уже
are
больше, может
already
быть, ничего не
going
ешьте, но
to the
и не
end,
пейте, но, по
just
крайней мере, чтобы возле
put
вас кто-то сидел и читал
put
вам Шримад
the
Бхагаватам.
food to the minimum,
Читал
don't
вам Шримад
eat, don't
Бхагаватам
drink too
обязательно.
much, and
Для
let
аудио, что
someone to sit
тогда
near
вы
you and
точно
read your
сдадите на
Srimad
отлично свой
Bhagavatam,
экзамен.
or that
Потому
there
что
is
это в
an
Писании
audio.
говорится. Тот, кто во
Who,
смерти
because in the
думает о
scriptures it
Боге,
said, whoever during the
все, он
death is
достигает
thinking
совершенства.
about God,
И вот думать в
he
момент смерти не
will
так-то просто.
reach the
Что мысли
perfection.
будут за
It's
как бы
not so
увлекать нас
easy to
куда-то
think
к дому,
about
к
God
к
during
еде, к
the
жене, к
moment of
мужу, к
death,
детям, к
because
работе,
the
к
mind is
вещам, к
just
предметам.
dragging us
То есть ко
to
всему ум будет, его надо упорядочить в это время.
husband, wife,
И к этому
things,
времени
house.
нужно от этих вещей
You
уже
have
быть
to
подальше.
order your mind, and by
Вот
that
такие
time
тоже
to
будут,
keep
кто
your
может
mind
быть и
far
поститься
away
на
from those
сухую.
things. If you
Те, кто
can just observe a dry fast.
решительные будут, и у вас не так много занятости, может
Some
быть, ее вообще нет, вы просто
people
дома
maybe
сидите,
just
никуда
don't
не
have
ходите, никаких
any
физических
kind
нагрузок
of
нету,
duties,
то
and you
можете
just at
просто на
home, you
одной
don't
воде,
have any
просто воду одну пить
physical
теплую, хорошую,
activities.
освещенную,
Just
чистую.
you can just
Пейте
drink
просто одну
water,
воду, но будьте аккуратны, если чувствуете слабость,
just nice,
и вам тяжело
clean,
будет
holy
читать,
water.
то,
If you
конечно,
feel
что-то добавьте,
some weakness,
туда
if
меда
it's
можно
difficult
добавлять, и
to
к этой воде,
read,
чтобы
you
силу
can
было,
add something to
глюкоза
this water,
какая-то,
just
фруктоза
honey,
должна
so
быть.
that you have some
Есть
force.
соки фруктовые
Maybe you
тоже можете
can
чуть-чуть
drink
так.
some
То есть,
fruit
другими словами,
juices a
чем
little
меньше вы
bit.
кушаете, тем
In other words, the
глубже и
less you
приятнее
eat,
будет протекать эта
then
процедура
the
чтения.
deeper and
Глубже,
more
глубоко понимать
pleasurable
будете суть.
will be
Сосредоточены
this
будете очень
reading
внимательны в
procedure.
это время.
Be very
Поэтому
attentive at
будьте
this time.
решительны к вашему обету или к вашему, скажем так,
Be very
методу,
sure
как вы
of
будете
your promise to
читать Шримад
yourself,
Бхагаватам,
to
будьте
your
очень-очень
method.
настойчивы,
Be
очень
very
решительны.
persistent and very
То есть
decisive.
выберите себе ту
Use
форму
the form
питания,
of
это что касается
food
питания, которая
that
будет вас
will
поддерживать, и вы будете
keep you up,
удовлетворены.
and
То есть такого не должно, чтобы вы читаете и
you
думаете о еде.
will be
Это неправильно
satisfied,
будет.
so that you don't
Вот
have the
читать
thing
все
that you're
настолько,
reading
сколько
and you're
вам
thinking
будет
about food.
комфортно при чтении, не
Eat
думать о
as
еде.
much as you need
Если вы
not to
хотите,
think
можете
about
не думать
food
о еде
during
и
the
все время
reading.
не кушать только пить, то это
If you
хорошо.
can,
Если вы будете постоянно думать, то это не
if you
совсем
can avoid
хорошо.
thinking about
У
food
нас
during
не все
the reading, it's very good. If you will think about food, it will
Еще
just
вопросы?
distract you. More questions?
У нас время подходит уже.
The time is almost finishing.
Я сейчас постараюсь вспомнить еще
Now we'll
какие-то
try to
моменты,
remember
которые
some
важны
other
при
details important
прохождении
for
этого
this
марафона.
marathon.
Есть варианты
There
чтения,
are possibilities of reading
сидя,
while sitting,
полулежа,
half lie
можно
down.
стоя.
You can
То есть разные
be
методы будут
on
по-разному
foot.
давать нам
These
сосредоточенность
different
какую-то,
methods will give
более
us
глубокую или наоборот,
different
какую-то
concentration,
размытую.
more deep
А если вы
or
будете лежа или
or
полулежа читать,
more
какое-то время
blurred.
вы можете читать, но быстро будете
If you will
засыпать, если тем
be
более вы давно не
half
читали.
lying or lying, then
Поэтому
you can
лучше,
read
чтобы
it,
спина
but
была прямая,
you will be
ровная, ну,
sleeping, especially if
вертикальная.
you haven't read for a long time before that.
Можно
Better
на
to
колени
have a
читать, это в основном
straight
православный метод, кто
back.
вот, в
The
церкви ходит, на коленях там
orthodox
читает
way
молитвы разные,
is
это
to
очень
be on
обычный
your
метод,
knees. Who goes to
поза
church
алмаза ее еще называют, или поза молнии
knows that this is a
называется
very
она в
powerful
йоге.
method. In yoga, it's
Ваджра
called
асана буквально, поза
pose
молнии.
of
Она дает очень сильную
diamond
решительность.
or pose of lightning.
То есть
It gives you
сосредоточенность.
very big
Такая
decisiveness,
поза, вот такое чтение.
decision,
То
and
есть это
very
значит,
big
знание, которое вы
concentration.
прочитаете,
It
усвоите, не
means that
усвоите, это может быть с
if
первого
you
раза не
read
важно,
it,
не
maybe
все
if
сразу
you
можно будет
digest it or
усвоить,
not,
но
maybe from
в
the first
каких-то
time
аспектах
you won't,
понимания
but
вашего, ну, этой
in
мудрости,
some aspects
вы
of your
будете чувствовать
understanding of this
внутри
wisdom,
сильную решимость это
you will
воплотить в жизни,
feel
то
a
есть в реалии
very
это
strong
воплотить, в
will
практическую
to
плоскость. Это только потому, что вы сидите на коленях.
realize
Потому что
it
энергия
in
с
your
нижних
real
центров
life
поднимается
just
вверх
because you're
сильно,
sitting on your
и там в
standing on
разуме
your knees,
возникает вот
because the
этот, ну,
energy from the
некий
low
симбиоз такой
center is
решимости,
going
отваги, то есть
upwards, and
бесстрашия,
there is a
то есть
symbiosis
вот этого
of
всего такого позитивного, чтобы эти знания
bravery
воплотить в
and
жизнь.
decision.
Можно читать вслух,
You can read
это
aloud.
сделает
It
вашу
will
внимательность
make
максимальной,
your
когда вы будете
attention
читать вслух. Но читайте вслух ровно
maximal.
так, чтобы вы никого не
But
беспокоили,
also you
во-первых,
have to think that
чтобы
you
никто
don't
не
bother
говорил вам,
anyone,
читай тише,
so
или
that
вот всё
nobody
там тихо,
tells
чтобы
you,
такого не было.
read
Читайте ровно
quieter,
так, чтобы вы сами слышали.
read
Вот что
in a
значит
way
вслух
that
читать.
you
Что
hear
вы
it
сами слышите.
yourself.
То есть ваше чувство слуха, значит, будет
So
занято.
your hearing
Все
will
чувства
be
должны быть
busy.
заняты.
All the
Глаза видят
feelings have
строки.
to be busy. The
Рот
eyes
и вкус
see the
произносит
lines. The
звуки.
mouth is telling the
Уши
sounds.
слышат
The
эти
ears are
звуки.
hearing those sounds.
Тактильная чувствительность. Вы в руках
The,
книгу или что-то
the
держите, то, что связано с этим священным писанием. Даже
feeling,
гаджет, если вы держите,
feeling
имейте в виду, в это время
of
гаджет
your
становится
skin, you're
духовным. Он не
holding a
материальный, потому что он
gadget
переносит
or a book.
духовного
And in this
знания.
case, gadget
И
becomes
запахи должны
spiritual
быть,
because it brings you the
не
spiritual
следой.
knowledge, and
То есть не должны быть
there
рядом запахи
there
еды,
shouldn't be
потому что иначе он будет
any
туда периодически у вас летать. Будет хотеть
smells
что-то
of
слышать, и как бы туда уходить
food,
будет.
because your
И
mind will
запахи
just
цветов
go
должны быть
there all the
какие-то,
time.
ну,
It has to be
благовония или там
some
ладан, что-то такое,
flower
или просто
smells
свежий
or
воздух
some
хотя бы должен
incense
быть, не
sticks or
отвлекайте.
some
То есть все
fresh
пять чувств должны быть заняты
smells
в
that
этом
it
процессе.
doesn't bother you. So all the five senses have to be busy in this
Это вопрос,
process. Another
можно
question:
чередовать
can I
молитву и
just
чтение
alternate
по дням,
prayer
или только
and
что-то одно выбрать
reading
на все дни марафона?
in different
Просто
days, or
поставьте
just
цель
I have
какую,
to
просто
just choose
одну.
one thing?
Прочитать весь день
Just
больше на
put yourself a
чтение.
goal to read
Например, другой раз,
mostly.
когда уже марафон
And
пройдет, вы
another
можете сами
time,
уже проводить такие марафоны для
when the
себя.
marathon will
И там
finish, you
можете
can also
чередовать.
make these
Один день
marathons for
читаете,
yourself.
один
One
день
day you're reading it,
молитву читаете.
and then
Можно
another day you're
пробовать это.
reading
Просто в
a
этом марафоне
prayer.
в чем ценность, что мы все дни будем
So
читать.
the value of this
Что мы каждый
marathon is
день
that
также
we
будем
will
обсуждать.
be reading
То
all
есть
of
каждый
it
день
and we will
будет
be
идти
discussing it.
обсуждение этих всех. Не осуждение, а обсуждение просто. И тогда вы будете как бы больше
And then you will be
вовлечены в этот процесс.
more involved in this process. More.
Если вы не ставите целью прочитать за
If
7
you don't
дней,
have a goal to
то
read it
тогда
all
ваша
during the
методика,
7
которую
days,
вы
then your
предлагаете,
method
может быть вами да
that you are
использована.
offering can be
Если вы ставите
used.
цель, например, 2
If
недели
you have a
читать,
goal to read it for
то
2
тогда,
weeks,
да, один
then
день чтения, один
yeah,
день
you
молитвы,
can
один
have
день
a
чтения,
one
один
day
день
of
молитвы, и
reading and
тогда вы
one day
тогда
of praying.
прочитаете.
And in this,
То есть в свободном
like
режиме
this, you
важно,
can
что
read
мы
it.
хотим
It's
помочь
important
людям.
that we want to
Вот
help
эту
the
синергию,
people. The
которую мы сейчас будем
synergy
создавать в этот день
that we will be
благоприятный,
starting to make during
мы должны
this
ее сделать
auspicious day,
максимально
we can make
насыщенной.
it
То есть
the
чтение
strongest.
книг и молитвы имеют одинаковую силу.
Reading books
Поэтому
and
что вам
praying
удобнее,
has the
это и
same
сделайте.
power.
Что
Do
больше вас
whatever is better
вдохновляет
for you,
сосредотачиваться на
whatever is
Боге.
inspiring you to
Это и
concentrate on
повлияет, это и
God.
будет как бы
And this
создавать
will
влияние,
make
сильное влияние на
the
общество.
influence, very
Ваше
strong
влияние во
influence
время,
on the
вернее, если ваша
society.
медитация во время молитвы
Your
гораздо
influence,
как бы сильнее концентрирование на Боге,
if during
то,
the
конечно,
prayer
это лучше
your
делать.
meditation,
Больше на это
your
акцент ставить.
concentration on God is stronger,
Но
then it's
попробуйте
better.
почитать
But try to read Srimad
Шримад
Bhagavatam.
Бхагаватам Он раскрывает суть всего,
is opening
что происходит в
the
творении, и в
essence
духовном,
of
и в
everything, whatever
материальном.
is happening in the
То есть
spiritual
нету
and
таких
in
писаний
material.
больше
There
на
are no
земле,
other scriptures
которые
in the
открывают
world like that
суть
that open
происходящего.
the
И
essence
на
of
материальном
the
плане,
events of
в этой
whatever is
вселенной
happening
материальной
in the
и в
material
духовном мире.
and in
То есть все
spiritual
миры,
world.
все, что происходит вокруг
Whatever
Бога,
is
это
happening
все
around
описывается в Шримад Бхагаватам,
God,
можно это все
it is
увидеть.
all described in Srimad Bhagavatam. You can all
Суммум
see
бонум
that.
подразумевает самые сливки.
The
То
cream,
есть все там
there is
есть.
the cream of everything.
Шримад Бхагаватам ответит на все вопросы.
Srimad Bhagavatam will answer all the
Почему он
questions.
отвечает на все вопросы? Потому что
Why
он
is it answering
вечный.
all the
То есть он
questions?
не
Because it's
материальный.
eternal, it's not
Шримад Бхагаватам
material.
это
Srimad
священное
Bhagavatam is the
писание,
sacred, holy
нематериальное.
scripture. It's
Оно
not
полностью
material, it's
духовное, от начала до
entirely
конца.
spiritual. From the
Поэтому,
beginning till
когда
the
человек
end.
читает Шримад
So when the
Бхагаватам, то же
person
самое,
is
что
reading
молитва.
Srimad Bhagavatam, it's the
Его
same
сознание
as
полностью
reading a
вовлечено во
prayer,
что-то
because
духовное.
his whole mind
Это
is
духовное будет вытеснять
involved in
мусор из
something
нашей головы,
spiritual, and
материальный,
this
ненужный.
spiritual will just
Шримад
throw away
Бхагаватам
all the
оставит
useless things
материальные
from
вещи в
our
нашем
head.
сознании,
Srimad
только те, которые
Bhagavatam will
помогут совершить вот
leave
этот подвиг
only the
духовный
things in our head that will
в
help
нашей
to
жизни,
make
каждого
this
человека, неважно, в каких мы
spiritual,
традициях находимся.
heroic deed.
Это знание для всех, так же, как
This is the knowledge for
мусульманин может
everyone,
найти
such
в
as
Библии
Muslim
хорошие
can
вещи для
find
своей
something
духовной жизни.
good in
Так же,
the
как
Bible,
православный человек может в Коране
same
найти
as
что-то
an
ценное и важное
Orthodox
для своей
can
жизни.
find something
И
valuable
также
and
люди могут
important
в
for their
Бхагаватам
life
найти
in Quran.
ценное
Same,
и
all the
важное.
people can
Важно
find
просто
something
поставить в центр
useful in
Бога
Srimad
и
Bhagavatam.
наше
Just we
служение Ему,
have to
наша любовь
put
Ему.
in the center the God and
Вот.
our
И тогда
service
Шримад
to Him,
Бхагаватам
and then
раскроет
Srimad
себя во всей
Bhagavatam will
красоте.
reveal itself in all its beauty. There are
Есть люди,
people
которые всю жизнь читают
who have been
Бхагаватам.
reading Srimad
Это
Bhagavatam
духовные
for the
люди, это
whole
святые
life.
люди.
These are spiritual, holy people.
Они прочитали, еще
They
раз
have
читают, и так всю
finished
жизнь
and
читают, и
they
у них
are reading
сознание
it
полностью
again.
духовное. Это
They
уже не
have
жители этого мира.
their conscience is
Они просто
totally
доживают здесь просто.
spiritual.
Их
These
ждет
people are
уже
not inhabitants of this world.
ну,
They are
великое
just finishing their lifetime here.
соединение, или
Something
великое
great is
слияние,
waiting
или
for them.
великое
There will be
знакомство,
the
или
great
великое
meeting or the
возобновление своих
great
отношений с Богом. То есть начало их
reconciling,
отношений с Богом, как с личностью,
restarting
не с чем-то
of
безличным.
their
Шримад
relationships
Бхагаватам
with
раскрывает в
God
полной
as with the
мере
personality.
Бога
Srimad
как
Bhagavatam
личность.
is
То есть
revealing
он
God
раскрывает его, потому что
as the
многие традиции
personality to the
уважают
fullest,
Бога,
to the
любят
maximum.
Бога,
Because there are people
ценят Его,
who
верят в Него.
respect
Но
God,
кто
who
он
believe
такой,
in God,
конкретно понять
value
почти что
God,
никто не может. Конкретно кто он,
but
какой он,
who
как он
he
выглядит,
is, they
как
cannot
он в этом мире
understand who
проявляется.
he is, how he
Вот,
looks
в
like,
этом
how
плане
he
мы, по идее,
appears
должны
in this world. Nobody
отдать
knows.
должное
We
Индии,
have
потому что
to
Индия,
pay
она
homage to
сохранила, она как
India, thank
колыбель
India, because
духовная
it
на планете,
kept,
она как
it is a
библиотека,
cradle of
которая
the,
сохранила вот эти
as a
ценности.
library, as a cradle of the
Почему
spiritual
эту традицию
culture in
называют
this world.
как бы той
Why this
культурой,
tradition
они
is
придерживаются той
called
культуры, которая идет
the
из
culture?
древних
Because this
времен,
culture is coming from the very ancient
сохраняется там.
times.
Почему? Потому что это культура, которую практикуют
The
они, сейчас уже
culture
не
that
только, они сейчас
they
во
are
всем мире,
practicing, and
во
not
всех
only
странах есть
them,
люди, которые
everywhere in
практикуют
the
эту
whole
культуру.
world,
Они
there
не
are people in
практикуют
different
культуру
countries. They're
Индии,
not
они
practicing
практикуют
Indian
культуру
culture, they're practicing
ведическую,
Vedic culture,
ту культуру, которую практикует
the
Индия,
culture which India is
что они
practicing, because
сохранили
they
ее
have just
просто.
conserved it.
Эта культура не
This
подвластна
culture
времени. Время не может повлиять на
cannot
эту
be
культуру.
influenced by time.
Посмотрите, в разные культуры
Look, different
поменялись уже.
cultures have changed,
Но эта
but
культура
this
так
culture
остается неизменной.
is just
Это признак ее
cannot be
духовности.
changed. It's
Признак того,
the
что она
sign
нематериальная.
of its spirituality,
Меняется
that
все
it's not
материальное.
material.
Духовное
All the material
не
things
подвержено
change, but
переменам.
spiritual, it's not
Поэтому мы и хотим
influenced by
призвать
time. That's
преданных,
why we
и
want
не только
to
преданных Бога,
ask
простых людей,
the devotees, and not devotees,
которые
just
даже
simple
ничего, может быть,
people,
и не знают о
even the
Боге,
people who just don't know
вовлечься,
anything
почитать
about
просто,
God,
что-то
just to
узнают,
get
какую-то
involved
пользу они
and to
принесут
read
себе, своему
something. They
роду
will
также.
bring some benefit for themselves and for their family.
Спасибо, дорогие
Thank you very
друзья.
much, my
Я
dear
думаю,
friends.
что это
I think that this
мероприятие
event will
состоится.
happen. We
Мы
will
соберемся все в
gather
своих
together
домах,
in our
просто
homes,
выполним требования правительства наших
will
стран, будем меньше
fulfill
ходить или
the
вообще не
demands
ходить
of
на
our
улицу, пока идет
government,
этот вирус.
will we will walk less or not walk outside to only important things which are authorized by the governments, and all the rest of the time we will just concentrate on this. It will be our offering to the whole world, and especially for those in need who are ill with this virus and whoever is already cured, or those who will not be able to cure. This will be our help. Thank you very much to everyone. See you during this marathon. Bye bye.